I was totally that guy at the post office today, walking in with a couple of bags full of padded envelopes with t-shirts to mail out, and everybody that walked in behind me looked at me with disdain. They were not happy, but I was happy because I was sending out a bunch of Coast2Coast Pinball t-shirts all over the world. Thanks for listening. Let's go. Welcome to Coast2Coast Pinball. My name is Nate Shivers. This is a podcast. It is a commentary. I'm a man at a quarters. Episode 45 is here. Hope everyone's doing well. Like I said in the open, I mailed out a ton of t-shirts. I think almost 20 t-shirts. There was a couple of packages with multiple t-shirts crammed into them that so I'm kind of thrown off. But I can actually say laying out a few $100s for t-shirts for my podcast was, I don't know, on some level a little bit like, what am I doing? When I actually pressed buy on all those shirts, I made almost all my money back in like the first shipment. So I've almost broken even, minus all the shipping costs. So I guess not. I guess I have more work to do. So we're on it. But really, I'm not trying to make any money. I just want to get a bunch of shirts out there with our logo on it. I think that's awesome. From Ireland to Australia to Victoria, British Columbia, to Marietta, Georgia, to Gaithersburg, Maryland, to, I'm trying to think of where else I sent shirts today, to San Francisco. Thank you guys. That was pretty awesome, getting just this pouring in of people requesting shirts. I am about to run out of double XLs and possibly larges. I think I'm low on. I have smalls, I have some mediums, I have a few larges, 2 or 3 left. I have a couple extra larges, at least 3 or 4, and I think I have 1 double XL left. So, like I said, once these shirts are gone, these military heather dark green or kind of mid-tone green, neutral green as Teresa calls them, once these are gone, they're gone forever. I'm not going to rerun them. Unless I sell the rights to somebody else who can rerun them. I'm just kidding. But I will do another shirt after that with a different color scheme, different something. I don't know. But we'll keep doing shirts. It's fun. It's a little stressful trying to, manage who sent me money, who didn't send me money, but, whatever. I sent a few shirts out to people who were supposed to send me money, so hopefully they send me money. I trust you. So without further ado, let's go see what Teresa's doing.
Getting in bed with Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
Hi, Nate.
What's going on?
Bed.
So that means what?
It's my time to talk about something pinballish with you.
What's the name of the segment?
Getting in bed with Teresa.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that?
I almost called myself the nickname you call me.
Which is?
Terry.
Oh, so it's getting in bed with Teresa.
Yeah.
All right. So the reason you're on the show tonight.
Yes.
Is because.
You have something, an actual pinball question?
Yeah. So, Star Trek just came out recently, right?
Yes.
Have you played the game yet?
No, I haven't even seen it.
Because you don't like to leave the house, I understand.
Hey!
So, well, it's kind of true. I wish I could put that look on your face into the podcast. So, the Pro has been out. That's the one I've gone and played without you.
Yes, you talked about it.
And the limited edition is coming soon, and a lot of people are waiting that ordered either the limited edition or want to buy the premium version. So each of those has upgrades, right? What's your hand in the air for?
I have a question.
What's your question?
Which one is rainbowy that I don't like?
Which one had like the red trim?
Yes.
That would be the premium. It has red trim. The limited edition has light blue trim with lights that shoot down the trim on the outside of the game.
Yeah, that's
pretty cool, huh? Right?
Like you're in warp and you use the lights.
Is it warp or is it maybe shooting?
Speed.
No, I think it's when they're I think it's like
torpedoes.
proton torpedoes. See, I could count on you for all the geeky tech names.
So cool.
So anyway, well, there's been a few features that have sort of been a bit of a mystery to the pinball world, and the most talked about feature is a Starfield laser projector.
Okay.
So it's going to project stars from underneath the apron of the game out onto the playfield.
What's the apron?
Where the part that's like above the coin door and behind the flippers. You know, the part where I pull up when I pull
the metal piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
So underneath there was going to be like a projector to shoot a star field out, because you know how the playfield on Star Trek we talked about in an episode that you might not have listened to is sort of open. There's not a lot of stuff on it. Well, the thought was that they wanted to do that, so there'll be this moving like star field and lasers shot all over it.
Wow.
Pretty cool, huh?
That's very
it's like
cool.
A first time for a pinball machine, right?
That's never happened before?
Never happened before. So guess what happened today?
What happened?
Stern, the marketing giants that they are.
Wait, who made Star Trek?
Stern.
Okay.
Stern put on their Facebook page a video of Steve Ritchie, legendary Steve Ritchie, who designed the game, playing the limited edition with the Starfield projector
that
going.
what we're gonna watch?
That's why I have your laptop here all set to go, and I want to get your take on the reaction of the Starfield projector.
Okay.
Because remember, this game, instead of being in like the $5,000 range, is more like $8,000.
Holy cow! That's
Well,
like
because it
medieval
has,
madness.
you know, the game has a big ship in the back, which is the Vengeance.
The large version of
big
the
bad
Enterprise,
from the second movie.
Yeah.
The Enterprise, so there's no Enterprise on the Pro, but on the limited edition, the premium, there's an Enterprise ship on the right hand side. It's kind of one of the bonus you get. There's also those 2 asteroids that I showed you that are above the ramps
rocks, they're dumb.
that look like baked
Giant
potatoes
rocks.
in tinfoil.
Here's the thing. I feel like if someone is buying a Star Trek pin, that they should all have the Enterprise on them somewhere. I don't think you should have to pay money extra
to get the Enterprise.
Enterprise.
Well, I think the idea is that you're sort of in the Enterprise as you're playing and fighting the Vengeance. So anyway, I'm going to show you
Vengeance
now.
isn't bad. It's just a larger version.
No, I thought the Vengeance turned on them. Remember? You don't remember the movie where the captain guy, the colonel, turned on him. You need to go back and watch this again. Clearly, it's sad when I know the details of a sci-fi movie and you don't. All right, so are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Here's the video and the amazing
can't see it angled like that.
the Starfield projectors. I want to get your live take on this. Are you in awe by the stars?
Is that those little pinkish red things?
Yeah. Steve Ritchie, look.
He's chubby.
What do you think of the Starfield projectors?
It looks like a skate rink, and that's the mirror ball. It looks like mirror ball.
You're not in awe of the laser projectors?
I thought it was going to be more
The star
lasery
fields?
and less reflecty.
They're stars, though, right?
They're pink.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't really like it. I don't know. I just, when you said laser, I thought it was going to be like...
Well, Starfield projector.
Didn't you say the word laser?
That's a laser.
Okay. When you say that, I think like laser light show, like actual beams.
That's a laser light show right there.
Beams. No, that's
I'm going to show you the video.
reflection.
No, hang on. Let me show you the video again. Here, watch it again. Watch it again. Watch it again closely. Look. Stars. Right? Stars.
Can I talk now?
Steve Ritchie again. Look.
Yeah.
Look, it panned up to Steve Ritchie again.
Can I talk?
Of course.
All right. This looks like Shell Creek Roller Rink from the 1980s.
I don't know what Shell Creek Roller Rink is.
It's where I went and roller skated all the time, and there's a mirror ball, and they would reflect light off a reflection of some sort of mirror, and it's not starlight on any level.
Oh. So, would you be disappointed with that?
How much more am I paying?
Oh, $2,000 to $3,000.
Yeah, it's total crap.
But you also get the asteroids. Don't forget, hey, they're in here somewhere, right? We can see that, maybe. I mean, this video's super high quality, right?
Are you making fun of the video? I just caught on.
No, I'm not making fun of the video. The vertical iPhone video. Why would I make fun of that? This is a multi-million-dollar
They didn't hold
corporation,
their
Stern
phone
Pinball.
right. I get it now. You made that comment. I didn't understand that you were being sarcastic.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think that this is crappity doodle.
Crappity doodle.
Crappity doodle all day.
I see. Okay.
It's not lasery. It's not star-like. And Steve Ritchie, it's not a good angle for him.
Be nice.
Hey, I'm just saying.
I may want to talk to
people's
Steve.
heroes.
Well, yeah, be nice.
Did he design the crappy laser show?
I don't know that for sure.
Dude, Dude,
There's an
like,
epilepsy warning sticker
legend.
on the machine. For this.
That nonsense is not causing any type of epileptic seizure.
Are you a doctor?
No, but I've taught students with epilepsy. It's not even stroby. It's barely moving. It's slow-moving pink blobs of some sort of light.
So how do you really feel about these stars?
I'm sorry. I keep getting disappointed every time you show me Star Trek stuff. It's a little... It's underwhelming.
Interesting. The game plays really good, though.
Yeah, I know you say that.
Look at all the great comments about how awesome it
someone
is.
just used my word.
What, underwhelming?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I scrolled down to those.
Just found out there are no other colors than red. Womp.
Wait a minute, hold on. So you're saying if I go outside, though, the stars in the sky right now are not red like that? Is that what you're saying to me?
Well, some of them are classified as red stars.
So they'll look red when I go out there?
No, not really.
Okay. Anything else going on you'd like to speak about? Do you like your t-shirt?
I love my t-shirt. It's really soft.
Good.
But that's important because sometimes people sell t-shirts and you get them and they're cardboardy. Yours are not cardboardy.
I won't sell cardboardy t-shirts.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem. You haven't PayPal'd me your money yet.
Yeah, I'll pay with other means.
I'm gonna have. Oh, you're gonna cook dinner for once. That's what it is. Good.
Hey,
perfect.
You're the dinner cooker. I'm the dishwasher.
All right. This is not household chores coast to coast with Teresa. Don't go straying off.
Every time.
We gotta go. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Forum static.
All right, yes. On the forums right now, we got a couple threads going, and two of them specifically relate to this Starfield projector. And I'm going to give Stern the benefit of the doubt. I haven't seen it in person. Where I will be a little bit critical here is, does anybody at Stern Pinball have a video camera other than an iPhone? And maybe nobody does. And maybe the budget just won't allow them to go out and buy a simple digital video camera. But what I would ask them is, please tilt your phone to the side and take a full video. And I know sometimes when you're filming a pinball machine, you want it vertically to get the whole game, but it just doesn't come across on the internet very well. The vertical video syndrome's terrible. So what we got is an 11-second video on Stern's Facebook page of Steve Ritchie playing Star Trek Limited Edition and a rotating set of red dots across the playfield and even across out to his hand. So this projector does seem to project out a little bit. And there had been reports that they had tamed down that projector somewhat so that it wasn't shooting off, stars, quote unquote, all around the room as much. There's actually an epilepsy sticker warning, like I was telling Teresa, on the side, which is not a first in pinball, because Attack from Mars actually had that as well, which, if you remember, strobe multi-ball in Attack from Mars, where the game gets real dark and then just the one strobing light goes while you play the multi-ball. So that was an issue there. I can't help but wonder if maybe the epilepsy warning sticker could have been part of the holdup on this thing. Possibly. It just so happens that Stern uploaded that video about 12 hours ago, about Tuesday morning. That video went up, West Coast. The same day that the IAAPA trade show opens, where there was on hand a Stern Star Trek Limited Edition. What is the IAAPA trade show, you might ask? Well, I'll tell you. It's the International Association of Amusement Parks and Attractions. Got that? So it's basically a big trade show for companies selling products to amusement parks, theme parks, and all of that sort. And Stern has games on display. It is in Orlando. The trade show portion opened today, and it runs through Friday. There is somebody there that is posting live on Pinside right now. A few people have actually played the game, said it plays very much like the Pro. The room is very brightly lit, and so I think there's some more questioning in how good those red dots look. There's a lot of red on the playfield is one of the issues I kind of have with the red dots on the Star Trek game. I don't know. I'm not totally. I don't know if I see the value here going to the going to the limited edition. So we'll have to see. I hate to be too critical when I'm looking at a poor quality 11-second video of just some spinning lights, and I almost feel like Stern rushed to get that up there because they were thinking, oh my gosh, this game's going to be live at this trade show today. And then the Southern Pinball Open? Southern Pinball? I'm so bad, I don't know the name of the pinball fest, or is it Southern Game Room Fest in Orlando, that's happening, I believe, next weekend. Next weekend's Southern Pinball Festival is in Orlando as well, and that will be taking place November 22nd, 23rd, 24th. So that's actually this weekend. So I'm assuming Stern is just going from one trade show to the next. So there'll be some people playing that. We should get some more videos. We will see the ship crashing. We'll see the sparkling asteroids and whatnot. So hopefully the limited edition Star Trek start shipping out to those who have plunked down that chunk of change soon. Also, there's been a couple threads running on sort of the ongoing topic at hand that sort of never ends, I guess. What will the next Stern title release be? And there's a thread that's called So What's Next for Stern? And it's actually a poll. That one's like 300 deep or something like that. And then there's been a thread by someone who I believe has some inside information that is titled, if I can find it again, I'm live looking at the forum as I do this, You'll Be Happy with the Summertime Stern Release, or something to that effect. I can't find it right off the bat. Oh, Stern's summer title, People Will Be Very Happy. And then there's basically 200 replies of nobody actually saying what the title is. A few people have seemed to convince me that The Walking Dead is not the next theme, although a lot of signs did point to that being the first John Trudeau released Stern machine. Fast and Furious is all but confirmed as a upcoming Stern title based on the, I think, 7 deep movie franchise. You know, fast cars racing around. Looks like that may be the John Borg release that's slated for spring, summertime 2014. Superman has obviously been talked about a lot since a picture of Gary Stern's office hit the internet in the last week or so, with a Superman cape draped over a bookshelf, I believe, in the photo. It's a photo of Gary Stern being interviewed, and in the background there's a Superman cape. And that would make a lot of sense to me. There hasn't been a modern a modern pinball of Superman ever released. I could see that happening. You know, Fast and Furious doesn't strike me as a great theme as far as what I like, but you could probably do a really good pinball machine off of it. Race car themes have obviously worked before. I think just as importantly as the new board system is coming, that's been very much talked about. Steve Ritchie's talked about it recently, and then likely we're going to see some sort of digital display, a actual LCD display. I got an email recently asking me whether or not I thought they would go to a full big display or a small display. I'm not sure. There could be arguments made for both. They did redesign the back box, and a smaller sort of wide but short LCD display might fit better there. And in some ways it might kind of keep a little more of that retro pinball look and feel to it, while you still have a translite up above. Because that is the one kind of knock on the Jersey Jack game, where Wizard of Oz, where it is beautiful. When the game's off, there's just a big blank screen, and it loses a little bit of that traditional pinball feel. But I don't know. I'm kind of hoping they go for bigger. I think bigger will draw people to the game, and I think that's what, at the end of the day, we really need. So it'll be interesting to see over the next few weeks. I think we'll have an official leak, or I'll hopefully get some news on what the next title from Stern will be. I was pretty sure it was The Walking Dead till I heard a few things that made me pause and think that wasn't happening. So not totally sure at this point. There has been some rumors of, well, actually I don't want to say that. Let's just say that I don't know. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. We'll leave it at that. I got to tell you, full disclosure, Coast to Coast Pinball listeners, I'm exhausted. I am absolutely bloody freaking tired right now. But that's okay, because I've got emails, and I am committed tonight to getting through this email. I will start here. This is from D. D writes, first off, I'd like to thank you for a podcast. As a guy, as a broke guy in my early 20s, I can't afford my own machines, but I plan location all the time. So having a podcast focused on playing the games is exactly what I'm looking for. I just caught up with episode 40, and now I look forward to seeing new episodes in my podcast feed. I'm a little behind on the mailbag, if you haven't noticed. I live in Orlando, where there is some pinball, but not a ton. Hey, there's trade shows. Go to the trade shows, dude. There's a bar that has an AC/DC Premium and a Wizard of Oz, and I'm seeing Avenger Pro units showing up at several locations, but en route, it's kind of slim pickings. So he goes on to tell me a little bit more about the Orlando scene. He wanted to share a story of how he got into pinball, even though it's nothing special. Hey man, it's all special. He said, I forget what episode you mentioned Super Mario Brothers Mushroom World, but I got a huge rise out of that because it was the first game I remember really loving. Interesting. There was a big family fun center called Fantasyland not too far from my house, and it was mostly redemption games. They had a Mushroom World and an Addams Family. Now, Mushroom World is the one I don't know as well. I make fun of... actually, am I wrong on that? Mushroom World is the one I make fun of, isn't it? What's the other little, that other Super Mario Brothers game that isn't really a full-size game? No, Mushroom World is the little short squatty one. So Mushroom World is the yellow one with the short play field. I think it was kind of aimed at being possibly a redemption game. They didn't make a lot of those. I think less than 600 of them, if I remember correctly. And maybe it wasn't even redemption. It was just a small game aimed at young folks. That's what it was. I knew there's something quirky about that game. So I don't know that game real well. So I won't rip on it like I do the other Super Mario game all the time. I just like the hate mail I get from some dude in Arizona. As pinball in the wild started to disappear, I played a lot of those 3D Ultra pinball games from Sierra, and I played a lot of Microsoft Pinball Arcade. I also had a VHS, The History of Pinball. I actually just watched that. I downloaded that off of a site of dubious means recently and watched it on a flight, which I played till it broke. Other than that, there wasn't a lot of pinball because nothing was really around. One day I discovered Pinball Arcade and I was hooked. A few weeks later, I found a Tronland location, fed it a lot of money, and taught myself how to play somewhat properly. It's a great game to learn on since it's got combos, stackable multi-balls, and that play field. The first time I made it to Sea of Simulation, I was over the moon. I've always loved pinball, but it took Pinball Arcade to remind me that it was still around, and now it's a big part of my life. It's fun. I'm good at it. It gets me out of the house. Dave, I'm not sure what you want me to call you. His email says D in the thing, but his name's Dave. Thank you for the email. It's a great story. It really underscores how important digital pinball can be right now as far as drawing people who maybe were already in the hobby back to the hobby, and then certainly bringing new blood in. So I think that's awesome. I really appreciate you taking the time to write me that nice email. If you hear this episode before the weekend is up, oh, you know what? He actually says in part of the thing that I skipped over a little bit that he is going to the Southern Pinball Festival. So hopefully Dave can send me a little report on how that is for him. I would have loved to have made it out there, but that just wasn't in the books for this year. So anyway, thank you very much for the email, Dave. Steve, who's friend of the show, Steve, wrote me, and he said that, hey there, Nate, given your current rate of release, I predict 54 total episodes by Christmas. Because I have been saying for a while now that I would get to at least episode 50 by Christmas. Yeah, we're going to get to 50. I wrote Steve back and just said, sounds like there was some math involved in that, which is, over my head. So, 54, huh? That sounds about right. I think we'll get pretty close. Friend of the show, Joe Zenkis wrote us and says, talking about the Stern LCD discussion. In theory, this is a good point why Stern is reluctant to switch to LCD, but Stern could also just plop an LCD monitor where the DMD currently is, only show 1/3 of the screen, which shouldn't be any worse than what they currently do. Also, Invisiglass isn't necessary if you cover the LCD screen with 3M glare filters so the light doesn't reflect onto the glass. I think I was sort of talking, conjecturing about whether or not they would go to Invisiglass. Somebody asked that in an email to try and avoid the glare, and maybe that's why Jersey Jack's done so. So that's an interesting thought. Using the glare filter, that might be a great thing for pinball stores to sell. If they don't already, I think they probably do. There's a link to it on Pinside here. So thank you, Joe. I appreciate that note. Joel wrote me. Joel is from Kansas City, and he gave me a great rundown of a couple cool places to play in Kansas City. He said a couple episodes ago you were talking about Jack Bar, the pinball bar in Brooklyn. I was inspired to tell you about the pinball bar in non-coastal Kansas City. He's in what's called a flyover state. And I don't say that in a demeaning way. I just say that if you're flying from the coast to coast, you're going to fly over Kansas or Missouri, depending on which state he's in. He says Kansas City has two main pinball hotspots. There's a bar called the 403 Club with a Judge Dredd, a Star Trek Next Generation, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Whitewater, Addams Family, Episode 1, and a Twilight Zone. And then there's also a family-friendly pizza place called Pizza West. I have actually been to Pizza West a couple years ago. I don't remember all this pinball, though. But Pizza West has currently Data East Star Wars, Addams Family, Iron Man, Wizard of Oz, Funhouse, Theater Magic, Tri-Zone, interesting. Even though there are only two good spots, Kansas City has an active pinball scene because both places host monthly and annual tournaments on fun, well-kept machines that they regularly change out. If you visit the area, I would especially recommend the 403 Club since you're a late-night player and the 403 Club is open till 2 a.m. Then he asked if I was going to talk more about tournaments. He'd like to hear my feelings on the effect of tournaments and the WPPR points are having on the pinball scene. I'm relatively new to pinball, and I do not know if pinball tournaments and leagues have always been so popular or if it's a new phenomenon, but at least presently they are a big part of the scene. It's a great point. I am also in a city, San Diego, without a ton of great location pinball. There's really only one spot with 4 or 5 games, and then a couple of spots with 3, but most spots have 1 or 2. And there's a semi-active league here. The San Diego Pinball Club does quite a few events. They're doing an event tonight, and I couldn't go. I had things to do here at the humble abode, like record this podcast. No, I think pinball tournaments and leagues are definitely picking up steam and gaining as the popularity and as sort of this increase we've seen over the last year and a half is happening. And I think it's really helping. Pinball can be so incredibly social. It's the great equalizer. It doesn't matter if you're 13 or 80, male, female, tall, short, skinny, whatever. Anybody can play pinball. You just gotta, learn the rules, watch the ball, and I mean, obviously there's some reflex issues, but pinball's something that everybody can walk up to, press the start button, and start using the flippers. So I think it's definitely an increase is happening. As far as the WPPR points, I wouldn't say that specifically the IFPA points is, and WPPR is the World Pinball Player Rankings. I don't know if that's specifically driving the big increase. That's certainly focusing the top players. The top probably couple hundred players are probably pretty aware of their standings on that. I think that will be very important in the future, and I've actually kind of spoken with the guys over there, with Zach, and we're going to do a podcast eventually, and I hope that we can. I don't know. Actually, I'm lying. I spoke with Josh. Zach's number 1 on the IFPA list right now. And I spoke with Josh via email about doing a podcast, so we're going to do that. That's actually going to happen. Because I think that will be a big story for probably the foreseeable future. But I think right now the increase is we have operators and people who are in love with pinball, who are promoting it and getting people out. What's great about the IFPA and PAPA is there's some sort of structure and organization that the people hosting the tournaments can sort of latch on to. So indirectly, yes, I think the IFPA as an organization is absolutely helping grow. They have a huge growth in the amount of people who are signed up in the IFPA. As far as just the points, I don't know if the average person is tracking points day to day. Maybe they will. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm wrong. What do you think? What do you guys think? I know there's guys listening to this right now and girls that play in tournaments. Are you watching your points? Is that a big thing to you? Let me know. Thank you very, very much, Joel, for the email. I do appreciate it. Moving on here. All right. Eric wrote me. Good morning, Nate. Been there since the beginning, and I'm still there and enjoying the podcast very much. Hats off to you for your efforts. Keep each show fresh, not just moving on momentum. I'm trying tonight. I'm trying. Enough well-earned praise. Thank you. I typed a while back thanking you for your defense of No Fear, and today I'm standing with you in response to I remember why I pulled this email. He says, I find nothing to pull me to or back to Bad Cats. Finally somebody agreed with me on Bad Cats. I had like 6 or 7 emails going, no man, Bad Cats is awesome. You need to go play it again, which I will. I will give it its fair shake. I absolutely will do it. But Eric here agrees with me, so I'm reading his email. Just kidding. Let's see. Talks about the getaway, high speed. He also doesn't particularly love Creature from the Black Lagoon. I think I've said that I love the theme, I love the look, I love the vibe, don't love the play. He kind of agreed with me there. In conclusion, I quote a good friend's justification for so much of the world's variety. That's why Baskin Robbins sells more than vanilla. Yeah, I hear that a lot. 31 flavors, right? So, yes, I agree. Thank you for agreeing with me. It makes me feel better at night. On some level, I kid. Eric, I appreciate the email. Luke wrote me, and he's from Canada, the great country of Canada. He was ordering a shirt, and then I don't want to read all the really mushy stuff about how great he thinks the podcast is, because that sounds like I'm bragging, and I don't want to do that. Here's why I pulled this email for a reason. Sorry. Quasi-thoughtful question. Do you think Stern would be better served to put out 2 really solid games a year as opposed to 3 games a year, only one of which actually hits it out of the park? This just came to me when I thought, well, they released AC/DC last spring, and they released Metallica this spring, and then I had to stop and think what 2 games came in the middle. I knew one was Avengers, and after checking Wikipedia, X-Men was in there. The year before that, Tron made it big, and no one really cared for Rolling Stones and Transformers. Prior to that, it was the kind of dead spell known as Between Spider-Man and Tron, with a little late appreciation for Iron Man. It seems that with the number of people still taking delivery on new in-box AC/DC machines, the push for machines with good shots, reasonable theme, good and complete rules is there. He gives me kind of his ideas on why that might work and why they do it. I will answer like this. So, Stern has a factory. Stern has a lot of people employed in the factory. They have to build a certain amount of games. You know, they start a certain amount of games per day, and I don't know what their finish time is on a game, but they have to start a certain amount of games a day and build a certain amount a year to keep these people employed. So I think the problem with dropping down to 2 would be not so much for the hobbyist side of it, because the hobbyists, we could keep up with 2 better than we could keep up with 3, certainly. Because at the end of the day, there's only a small percentage of the kind of home market that will be able to buy everything they release. There's a few guys that do that, but more than likely, it's not that many. What's going on here, though, is a lot of their games get sold to operators, and not just in the United States, internationally too. And some of those operators will buy every game. And if you have, let's say, and I don't know what the number is, I'm just going to throw this number out there. Let's say you have 500 operators worldwide that you sell to, and some of these operators buy, lots of games. And if it's a theme that they see is going to be a hit, they might buy a whole lot of them, maybe 20, 30 units. So if you drop down from having 3 titles a year to 2, you're going to have less games to sell to the operators, and there's a built-in chunk of sales for every theme, no matter what it is. If you do a Rainbow Bright pinball machine, there is some baseline, albeit small, on that theme and speculation, number of units you will sell. So even if we bring out Rainbow Bright, Stearns is going to release Rainbow Bright summer of 2014. they're going to call all their operators, and there's going to be some of those operators who just say, yeah, send me one, of course. Any game. There's probably standing orders. I'm in sales. I do this all the time, and I have dealers. When we release something new or limited as a company that I work for, I don't even have to call some of these guys. It's, don't call me, just put me on the list and shoot me an email and let me know what I'm getting. And I guarantee you Stern has that too. There's certain operators who are just, they want yes. And then once they see the theme, get a look at it, maybe start gauging interest, then they might increase their orders and keep ordering. And if you were to cut down from 3 to 2, that baseline number of built-in sales goes down. You'll build fewer games. You can't keep as many people on staff. And it's vital for a factory that's producing something, especially in the way a pinball machine is produced, that you keep employees going. You can't just say, okay, we're building games, and, we're waiting for the next theme, so take a few weeks off. Doesn't work that way. People need to get paid, and you need money coming in at all times. So I think that if this was all just a hobby standpoint, yes, you could probably say, well, we're going to sell the same amount of units to the hobbyists by putting out 2 really high-quality themes each year, and then we'd sell the same amount there as we would if we did 3 and maybe, have 1 hot theme and 2 that don't do as well. Now, like I said, the distributors change that a little bit because they're buying. Here's the other thing. I don't think that at any point Stern Pinball goes in with the idea of, well, this theme's just okay and the gameplay's probably not going to be that great. It'll be all right. I don't think that's what happens. If I look at a game like Transformers, I think George Gomez put a lot of heart and soul into Transformers. I think that they were tied a little bit probably with the art direction with the licensee. So I think the artwork took an unfortunate turn. But I think George really tried there. And budgets hurt these guys all the time when they design games. The budgets tear them up. You go for big toys, you may not be able to do really nice artwork, whatever. So I think they probably all start off with the best of intentions, and these are complicated machines to build, and there's probably a point on some of these where it just sort of gets away from you, where it's like, well, I've already done this and this and this, and now this isn't all that great. I think Avengers was that. I think Avengers was probably George saying, all right, I'm not going to do a George Gomez layout. I'm going to do, this crazy layout with these asymmetrical lines and different shots and put all this stuff together. And you know what? If he'd had another 6 months or another year to do Avengers, it could have been amazing. But the fact is they're under budget constraints, timelines, and they don't all get hit out of the ballpark. Sometimes they hit singles and doubles. And that's just the reality of it. So I think they probably try on every one of them, and in their mind, they're trying to make everyone as successful as AC/DC. But that's kind of what I think about that. Is they're gonna keep doing 3 if that's the number that sort of fits their production. Now, the other problem you can get into when you're manufacturing, if you have some real huge successes and you get to the point where you can't keep up with production, that can be bad too, because, well, what do you do now? We're selling, let's say we're starting 20 games a day, but we're now in a backorder situation because my sales crew is selling 25 games a day. So I have a 5 game shortage happening every day. So I have to increase production somehow. So either my employees have to work overtime, which costs me a fortune, or I have to hire more people and open up more shifts. Okay, that's fine. We do that because there's more money coming in. But sometimes it doesn't line up right. Well, we only need to build 5 more a day. And if I hire a bunch more people, they won't have enough work to do because we only need 5 more a day. And so here's the problem with that. You ramp up production and then sales drop down a little bit. And now you hired all these people that you no longer have work for. And now you're laying people off. And the cost of acquiring one employee is a lot. It's not just, come on and hire a guy and go. You got to train them. You have to fill out paperwork. You file taxes. It's a pain. So there's a sweet spot in manufacturing. And let me tell everyone the secret on controlling that sweet spot as far as not letting it get out of control the other way, getting to the point where you need to build more games, but you aren't really in a business situation to do that. You raise the price. And people get upset because they see prices go up. Generally, prices are going up for a couple reasons. One of them can be that the company needs to make more money, more margin on their machines. One of them can also be they're building as many machines as they can. and they need to slow it down a little bit. They're out of their comfort zone as far as production numbers. It's sort of complicated. And I think we all get lost on the Pinside forums as, oh, Stern sucks. They raise their price. Or, oh, Stern can't get this right. It's complicated. I've said this many times, and I'll say it again. It's really hard to build a pinball machine. So I think that's what you're looking at, is they found the sweet spot. It's roughly 3 games a year. They know kind of how many they're going to sell to distributors. They're going to count on having some home runs happen. Hopefully, a little bit of back order's good. Creates demand. It's a good thing. You don't want to get to the point, though, where you're tilted upside down, I guess is what I'm trying to say there. So there's a little of me spazzing out about manufacturing as if I really know. But in any case, Luke, thank you for the email. Much appreciated. All right, so I made a boo-boo last mistake. Yes, I said boo-boo. And a couple different people corrected me, and I just chose one of the actual, I think, 4 or 5 people that corrected me. Rob wrote me and says, Nate, been listening since the beginning. I just listened to episode 44, and I had to correct your information about Town Hall in College Park, Maryland. Either the author of the email confused 2 locations, that is not what happened, or you confused 2 emails. That's actually not what happened either. It was all in his email. I was just reading it live on the air, so to speak, and confused his 2 paragraphs. I used to play, Rob says, in the Thursday Night League at College Park, and I go there every so often to play, and for tournaments like the Wizard of Oz launch party on December 8th and the Maryland Pinball Championship in late January. The lineup at Town Hall, when I was there about 2 weeks ago, was Wizard of Oz, Attack from Mars, Twilight Zone, AC/DC Premium, World Poker Tour, Doctor Who, and Funhouse. Definitely more A-listers than the lineup you read. Yes, my mistake. I confused, when I was reading that email, I confused Town Hall in College Park with Timeline Arcade in Hanover, PA, which had a much more B and C list of games. My apologies there. I don't actually recall exactly whose email that was that I screwed up, but I do apologize. Let's see here. Shane. Okay, so Shane's in Australia. Sent Shane some t-shirts today, and he really is trying to get them. He's excited to get these shirts, and I really appreciate the enthusiasm because he is playing in the state finals for the Australia-New Zealand Pinball Open. He qualified it, and he says in parentheses, almost accidentally at PAX, which he also says in parentheses is a Nerd Expo. I don't think that is an official title. I don't believe PAX or PAX is officially a Nerd Expo, but I get what he's trying to say in Australia. And if you go through and win this national final, the first prize is a Metallica Pro pinball machine. That's pretty great. The other way of qualifying was by playing any number of Metallica machines around the state that had tournament play enabled. Highest scores on those goes to state finals as well. Victorian final is in Melbourne, or hang on, how am I supposed to say it? Melbourne on the 30th. NSW 1 is in Sydney, I think the first Sunday of December. Now I've gone too far down the rabbit hole in Australia. But what I'm trying to say is Shane is going to wear his Coast to Coast Pinball t-shirt in competition, and he is part of Team Coast to Coast, whatever that means. So thank you very much, Shane. I do appreciate it. That's awesome. One last email I'm going to read tonight is from Mr. Jones, as he says. You mentioned in episode 41 that you were wondering what Jersey Jack was thinking when he watched the medieval madness going down during Expo. Well, I know what he was thinking. I chose the wrong license. Mr. Jones says, I totally understand the desire to expand interest beyond upper middle class white males, and I think Wizard of Oz is a great theme for a second game. Just starting out as a company, though, he needed a game for the hardcores. How many pinheads have played Wizard of Oz, thought it was good, but wouldn't pull the trigger because they didn't want to hear Yellow Brick Road for the 1000th time? Interesting. Also, he should have had a second game out by now. According to Don's post on the Pinball Podcast, Jersey Jack Pinball started taking money for Wizard of Oz in January 2011, and he's been shipping since last spring. We're now a full year away from The Hobbit being released in December of 2014. How is he going to keep the lights on for the next year? Did he spend all the money he's gotten from Wizard of Oz getting off the ground? Are Hobbit kind of sort of limited edition pre-orders really going to get it done? Between Ruby Red and Stern Code, the faithful don't seem to be in a giving mood. Thank you for the email, Mr. Jones. I think that you may be onto a little bit of something there with Jersey Jack, and that's probably what's driving some of this Ruby Red limited edition Wizard of Oz. He's not building a lot of games per day. Like we were talking about a second ago with manufacturing, he's in a fairly small manufacturing situation, and I think, they're building less than 10 a day, 10 to 12 a day maybe, and I they took in a lot of money, and I don't know that they've made any profit as of yet. In fact, I believe Jack's been on record saying that they haven't. So I think that Jack has a long-term vision for the company. The doors are open because Jack wants them to be open. Jack's also making money other ways. He runs another business, obviously, in pinball as a distributor. So it's interesting. We'll see. He's taken in a lot of money, both on Wizard of Oz and now Hobbit money coming in as well. So I have the feeling we're going to see Jersey Jack around for quite a while. And I'd love to get him on the show sometime. That may happen. So, in any case, I have pontificated long enough. Again, I want to thank everyone for listening. Really appreciate it. If you would be so kind as to write us a favorable iTunes review, that would make my day, morning, all that good stuff. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. And just keep listening. That's all I ask. I appreciate it. I love the emails. They make my day when I get them. Shirts are $18, shipped anywhere in the United States. If you're outside of the U.S., we'll sort of figure it out. I can tell you a shirt to Australia costs about $17, roughly. So figure in the $35 range, $34, $35 range for a shirt. In fact, I can get you two shipped for about $36, I think, is what it ended up being. The weight plays into it. I'll know on Canada soon enough. I know Canada. Canada's about, I think I can get you shipped for about $23, $24. But just email me if you're interested. We'll get you some shirts. We're going to run out of these here in the next week, I think, and then we'll go on to run number 2. I appreciate everything. This has been Coast to Coast Pinball, episode number 45. I'll talk to you soon.